forward to that. All right, the tale of the tea shares honest conversations between two men on race in America today. Our friend Andreas White Murdaugh spoke to these two about the inspiration behind their new project. Here's that conversation.
Have you ever had an encounter that changed your life? Today we chat with author and filmmaker B.K. Fulton and attorney and activist Jonathan Blank, who share a recent interaction that led to the publishing of their new book, The Tale of the Tea, Be Kind and Just Believe. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you. This is a very interesting story because before June of this year, you were strangers. Fast forward to August, and you formed not only a brotherhood, but a book. Where did this relationship begin?
It really started with an act of kindness. My wife, Jackie Stone, who's Jonathan's law partner, stopped to clean a sign that had been vandalized, the Oliver Hill sign, and it ended up in the newspaper. And so Jonathan saw it and sent her a nice note, and she responded and copied me. And over, I guess, the next few days, about 7 days, Jonathan and I started emailing back and forth. And it was just an amazing set of correspondence. And we thought, you know what, maybe we should make a book out of this.
Incredible. So Jonathan, tell me a little bit more about that interaction and how that maybe unlikely conversation led to a literary art.
It was an extraordinary exchange of emails that started it. And it really started with Jackie sending me BK's speech to VCU. And I took the time to listen to it, and it moved me. It moved me greatly. And I corresponded back to her just to tell him it was very, very powerful and that it should get a broader audience. And then BK reached out to me, partially because I had shared I had a personal medical issue at the start of COVID where I was out of town and ended up with pulmonary embolism and was in a hospital with blood clots. And BK reached out to really thank me for the comments, but also give me some words of advice about seizing life. And then that really started the catalyst of the communication. And it was wonderful from there.
Incredible. And we're so happy to see you well at this point, especially given all that you and many others have gone through over the last couple months. Now, the book also, the title of it is The Tale of the Tea. And I hear that you all actually carry golf tees with you. What do they symbolize?
The tea symbolizes the work ahead to jointly create a civil society. It's really important for people to have honest conversations. And I think what comes through in the book and in the emails that we shared was this honesty. We both had written articles about truth. We both were speaking publicly or with colleagues about the importance of collaboration and talking and honesty. And we realized that those simple things can make a big difference. They can be healing. And so we now carry the tea as a memento of how precious humanity is, but also that it's important work to do. A lot of people don't know, and Jonathan may want to speak on this, but a lot of people don't know that the tea was actually invented by an African-American man, Dr. George Grant, who was also the first African-American professor at Harvard and a dentist. But he invented the golf tee. And so Jonathan is a big golfer and didn't know that. And so the tea is a memento of the stuff we have to learn and the work we have to do to move forward as a civil society.
Absolutely. Jonathan, did you want to speak to that as well?
Yeah, and I do carry the tea. And I'll take got a picture of the patented tea from Dr. George Grant. And it is extraordinary. And it was part of BK had published an op-ed, and it was talking about a takeoff from his speech at VCU about people in the margin and that they don't get recognized and we don't hear these stories and we're ignorant. And we have to admit that we're ignorant about these stories, and we need to take it upon ourselves to go out and learn these stories. But we also need to encourage people to talk about them. You have to admit that you don't know everything. There's lots of things out in the world, and especially at this time that we're dealing with race issues, we need to be in a position to go explore. And the fact that I played golf, and not well, but played golf since I was a little boy with my grandfather, really got me into the sport. How many times did I put that tee in the ground? And I didn't know that an African American created the tee. How many times around the world we hear about this sport that really has been a sport of white privilege, and yet every single golfer knows the tee, and they need to know the story behind the tee. And there's so many more stories that we need to know behind, and that really was what moved me about BK's speech and many of the correspondences that we had.
Well, I am just so intrigued by the story, by the connection that you all have built in a very short period of time, and the importance of not only communication, but having healthy communication with people of different backgrounds and finding the commonalities that truly bring us together. Thank you all so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
If you'd like to purchase your copy of The Tale of the Tee, we'll post more information on our website at WTVR.com/BTM.